one thing about negative thoughts, I oftentimes think about them like an airport, right? And when I say that, I mean that they tend to fly in and they tend to fly out, right? And oftentimes, if you're a human, or if you're human, it's actually completely normal to have negative thoughts. Like, it is absolutely normal, right? So I don't want you guys thinking that something's wrong with you or you're weird or whatever for having negative thoughts. See, one of the reasons that we have negative thoughts is partly down to evolutionary reasons and partly down to kind of social condition in a way. Because right now in society, we have all these, you know, negative things like social media and just negativity in general, right? So it's easy for us to get caught up in all this negativity, right? Which is why it's essential for us to be observers of our thoughts. So what do I mean by being an observer of your thoughts? When I say be an observer of your thoughts, what I mean is that these negative thoughts are gonna pop up, right? They are gonna come up, right? You sometimes you really have no control over whether they pop up or not. However, what you do have control over is whether or not you accept these thoughts or whether or not you reject these thoughts. See, a lot of the times why people get caught up in this state of negativity is that they allow themselves to accept these negative thoughts rather than rejecting them. And I also found myself in that place a few times in my life. Recently I remember I was sitting down, right? And one of the reasons why I started this YouTube channel was that I wanted to share my knowledge with people. I wanted to impact somebody's life, right? Through my experiences, through the knowledge that I've developed over the years, right? But I was sitting down and this thought came to my mind and it said, what makes you think that you're good enough to succeed at this YouTube stuff? What makes you think that you are good enough for people to listen to you, right? And I sat with that thought for a minute and I said to myself, this thought might not be completely wrong, right? Because I'm not the most social person. I've never really done anything of this sort in my life, right? However, that actually gave me fuel. That actually gave me the push to say, that's all the more reason for me to continue. To prove to myself, to prove to that thought that despite me not ever doing nothing like this, that I can succeed. And whether or not 10 people listen to me, whether or not 100 people listen to me, whether or not 1,000 people listen to me, I'm going to impact someone's life in some sort or some fashion. And for me, that's enough. For me, that's enough to keep going, And in this way, that's really how you have to be with your negative thoughts. You have to silence the negative thoughts and find the positives in things that you're doing or in situations that you have in your life, right? Even the most successful people, you really think about it, even the most successful people in history have negative thoughts or have dealt with negative thoughts. But the reason why they were able to succeed, the reason why they were able to overcome them is that they rejected these thoughts. They rejected these thoughts and they adapted positive thoughts. And that's really how you have to be in your life. That's really how you have to be, bro. Y'all remember back in the day when they have these movies or these cartoons where the guy has the devil on the left shoulder and then the angel on the right shoulder. And that the angel tends to be that loud voice telling him you're not good enough, telling him you're not enough, or you can't do this, or you can't do that. Then you have that soft angel voice on the right saying, you are good enough. You can do this. You can succeed. That's really how your thoughts are. But sometimes we get so caught up in that loud, negative voice on our left shoulder that we oftentimes ignore that small, soft voice on the right shoulder. But if you silence that negative voice on your left shoulder, if you silence that voice and listen keenly to the voice on your right shoulder, that's all you need. To listen to that small voice telling you that you are good enough, that you can do this, and that whatever circumstance you are, or you find yourself in your life that you can't overcome it. That's really how you have to be. You have to reject the negativity and accept positivity, right? So I say all this to say, the only way you can really deal with negative thoughts is not to accept them. Is to reject them. Is to reject the negative thoughts that pop into your mind and accept the positive ones. That's really how you have to be. You have to develop that mental toughness, that mental strength to really overcome them, right? And I forgot to mention this as well. One of the ways in which you can really deal with negative thoughts is to really start meditating. I started meditating recently and I found it to be really helpful, because when you meditate, what you're essentially doing, you're calming your mind. You're placing your mind in the state of tranquility where you can really observe your thoughts and really, tune in to your thoughts. And then from there, you can really decipher on what thoughts you want to accept, what thoughts you want to reject, So it's a bit of mindfulness, I would say, right? And that has really helped me as well. Because I found myself sometimes in a place where I would kind of have these negative thoughts and, oftentimes they can be overwhelming. But recently I started meditating and practicing rejecting them and replacing them with thoughts of positivity. And I found that my mind shifted from that negative space, and now I find myself in a more positive space. So you really have to start doing that from now. And it's kind of like a muscle. The more you train it, the more your mind becomes more adept at dealing with these negative thoughts, right? So you have to start from now. You have to start practicing mindfulness and practicing replacing them with thoughts of positivity. Because regardless of what is happening in your life, you are good enough. You are enough. So don't allow yourself to be consumed by these negative thoughts, right? So that's all I have for this video. If you got something from this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And I have a lot of content coming soon. So I hope you guys tune in. Peace and blessings.